Only 35% of San Francisco condos are selling above list price citywide. Single-family homes, that number jumps to 75%, with bidding wars still being the norm. Now, condos just in the marina are selling over list price 70% of the time, doubling the city's average. And single-family homes in the inner Sunset, that number jumps from 75 to 92%. There is currently a market shift in San Francisco, but not all neighborhoods are created equal. The smart buyers are already making moves and creating massive opportunities in specific neighborhoods. In this video, I'm going to tell you where you need to be looking and what you need to be looking out for. Okay, let's get into it. The first thing, inventory. Inventory numbers are climbing. Last month, we had 100 more homes that sold than this month last year. And why is this? It's the buyer pool has increased as well as inventory levels. Interest rates are dropping and the economy is doing better. And just as important, if not more important, buyer confidence in the job market is very high right now. A few years ago, it was very hard for a home buyer to commit to a $7,000, $10,000 a month mortgage when they just saw 100 of their coworkers getting laid off. But now there are even more jobs coming to San Francisco. Home buyers' investments are going up, their RSUs, their job security, everything is on the rise. They are entering the market as confident as ever. Now let's look at days on market. A year ago, the average days on market for single-family home was 14. Today's 13, not much of a change. Demand for single-family homes is still very high, and there are no signs of that slowing down anytime soon, if ever. Condos, on the other hand, average days on market has dropped from 35 to 26. And why is this? Well, a good chunk of the 100% remote work jobs are really drying up, especially with finance, fintech, creative AI. Those folks are getting pushed back into the office more so than anybody else, but overall, there's just a lot less 100% remote work happening, a lot more hybrid situations. So buyers right now are flocking to neighborhoods like Soma and Mission Bay so they can be right next to their office. They want to be in a new construction high-rise with all the amenities and little to no commute time. And all you have to do is look at the median sale price on these neighborhoods to see that they are selling for $200,000 more than this time last year. So yeah, a lot of those 100% remote work jobs are gone. There's more hybrid schedules. When I was last downtown in South Beach, I went to Perry's on the Embarcadero, and it was like a Monday around like noon or 1 o'clock, and it was really dead in there. I was talking to the bartender and was asking her why it's so dead in here, and she says, well, Tuesdays and Thursdays are the busy days. That's when people work in the office. Now, I'm sure every employee in every company has different hybrid schedules, but it sounds to me like the bulk of the remote work days, the hybrid folks, are doing 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I have definitely seen less traffic on Mondays and on Fridays, especially in the downtown neighborhoods. So there is a little bit of pressure for these folks to get into the market and buy, especially before things get crazy. I'm going to talk about rates later, but once these rates fall into the fives, which is going to happen next year, it's going to be nuts. But this is not the only group feeling the pressure. We'll get more into that as well. But let's talk more about single-family homes for a moment. One bit of information you need to know is that San Francisco is not building any new single-family homes. There is a push for more housing, but that's going to come in the form of condos, apartments, mid-rise, and high-rises. So how do you think that is going to affect the appreciation for single-family homes and for condos in the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? People always ask me, will condos appreciate just as much as single-family homes in the future? And to answer that, you have to go all the way back to 2015. And if you look here, you'll see that there was not much of a price difference at all between condos and single family homes back then. This was because the city was flooded with tech jobs and tech workers after the 2008 crash. We had the tech boom of the 2010s. And these people did not want a single family home in the suburbs. They considered the Sunset, the Richmond neighborhoods of the suburbs. They wanted to be right next to their offices. They wanted to be in luxurious new construction condos. Now fast forward to the big 2022 remote push when that thing happened, and you'll see that gap had hit its highest point. This was a little bit of a crash, but it was also a little bit of a correction because single-family homes and condo prices were just way too close. People did not want to be near the offices anymore. They weren't even going there, so they wanted to head out, and they wanted the big backyard, the extra bedroom or the office, a big garage for their cars or for projects. They wanted another shift in work-life balance. Now, the reason I mention these two data points is because I want you to look at the gap today. The gap between single-family and condos are not as big as it is today, but it's definitely not as close as it was way back in 2015. So back to the question, will the demand for condos rise equally to single family homes in the future? So if you live here now, you know that the main topic is always about housing shortage, housing crisis, create more housing. And like I said before, those are going to come in the form of condos. So condo supply is going to increase, and the single family supply is not. So just put the demand to the side for a second. Just looking at the supply of the future of housing for the next 10 years, 20 years, you can already see that that gap is going to increase. And speaking of San Francisco doing everything it can to increase the amount of housing, it is really important that you stay on top of San Francisco current events, news, and politics, which you already do if you subscribe to my weekly newsletter, where I highlight the 2 biggest real estate related headlines of the week. And the biggest player that I mentioned in my newsletter and on my TikTok is our new mayor, Daniel Lurie. He is affecting the San Francisco real estate market almost on a daily basis. By the way, my name is Erik and I work at City Real Estate, who helps over 300 clients, over $640 million in sales annually. But I don't have a team under me. I don't pass my clients off to junior agents below me. All of my clients work exclusively with me from start to finish. And if you have any real estate questions or any real estate needs at all, I'm only a text away. Now back to Mayor Lurie, who is reshaping the San Francisco real estate market in ways that not everybody is paying attention to. He's been working to speed up the housing approval process by eliminating all the red tape, the barriers that get in the way of investors, developers, general contractors, your everyday homeowners. The housing constraints legislation amends San Francisco's planning code to eliminate all the unnecessary hearings and processes. Projects can take years to get approved, and this is one of the main reasons that housing supply is so tight in the city. And there's data to prove that this is already working. The planning approval process has dropped from an average of 222 days to 133 days. Building time has dropped from 258 days to 209 days. But supply alone does not tell the whole story. You'll see what I mean in a minute here. Mayor Lurie has not stopped here. He also spends a great deal of his time making the city safer and cleaner. If you've been through some of the rougher areas lately, you have probably noticed the difference. More street cleaning, more security, a stronger push to change the overall feel on the streets. It's not perfect now, but the vibe is definitely shifting. I'm always on the San Francisco subreddit, and I can't tell you how many times I see people post visits from San Francisco, folks from out of town that haven't visited here in years or decades, and they're just so surprised. They write these posts that are like, hey, I loved your city. It was so great. We were really surprised how clean and safe and quiet everything was compared to when we were here 20, 30 years ago. And they're just so overwhelmingly shocked how nice it is here compared to what they heard. So what does all of this mean for you? It means that you can't just go and tour a dozen houses, pick your favorite, and put it in an offer. You really have to understand the overall picture, everything that's happening in San Francisco. Are you looking at neighborhoods that are fully developed and you're happy to pay the premium that comes along with? Or are you looking for more affordable areas where the city is investing? Is it part of a development corridor where more improvements are on the way? But I just want to give you like 2 polarizing opposite scenarios so you can decide where you want to land somewhere in there. So this leads us to the big question that everybody is asking: who's coming out ahead and who is losing ground? Because San Francisco has never been a one-size-fits-all city. At the very top of the market, you have trophy homes in Pacific Heights, Presidio Heights, and the Marina, and they are holding strong. Why are these homes so steady? Well, for one, the buyers at this level are not worried about mortgage rates. They have the cash, or they can structure deals however they need. On top of that, supply is extremely limited. You will be hard-pressed to find any new 3-bed condos in Pacific Heights hitting the market right now. And single-family homes do not exchange hands as often as other neighborhoods. Most of these homes are tied up in family trusts, or they're owned by people who just don't ever need to move real estate for any reason. They don't really need to liquidate. Now, if you go down a tier to the mid-level market, that's where things start to look very different. Condos in the 1 to 2 million range in the central neighborhoods, Hayes Valley, Nopa, Haight-Ashbury, Alamo Square, they are all selling in 3 weeks on average, compared to a year and a half ago where it was taking 40, 50, 60 days to sell. Meanwhile, single-family homes in the outer neighborhoods, the Sunset and Richmond neighborhoods, they're all pretty much the same. Everything was and everything still is taking about 2 weekends, and then they're going to set offer days after 2 weekends of open houses. So the picture is a little bit complicated. Your tier 1 neighborhoods are slow and steady. Everything's fine. Nothing's really changing. Outer neighborhood single family homes, same thing, just slow and steady. The mid-tier condos are really showing a major spike in demand. And the investors who are banking on the instant appreciation in the luxury high rises, they are paying the price now. So what does all this mean for you if you're buying or selling in San Francisco right now? If you want to buy a newer condo in a high-rise building near the office, you have missed the bottom, but we are still not at the top. We still haven't sold over that 2019 condo peak just yet. If you're a condo seller, buyers are out there and they are selling faster than ever. If you want to buy a single family home, you definitely missed that soft spot where houses were getting 1 or 2 offers. You're going to have to get ready for bidding wars again like 2021, 2022. And we are very close to reaching new highs. And once those interest rates go into the 5s, which the Fed is predicting sometime next year, you can forget about it. Prices are going to get insane. It's pretty much buy now or forever hold your peace. If you are a single family home seller, you are totally in the driver's seat. You can sit back and wait for those rates to drop. Or if you're going to turn into a buyer yourself, you could put your home on the market right now. It is really hot, and try to get in as a buyer before the prices really get out of hand. But not every single family home is selling for crazy numbers like it was in 2021 and 2022. It needs to be marketed properly, and you need to get all the essential renovations done. And if you can't afford to do that yourself, that's where I come in. And this is what I specialize in. I bring in our own full-time designer who collects estimates from contractors and specialists. We make recommendations on which work should be done, project manage the entire thing from start to finish, and pay everybody up front. All my clients have to do is pay me back after the home sells, dollar for dollar, no interest, no fees. I highly recommend you hit me up if you want to know what this looks like for your situation. Okay, so where do we go from here? Well, let's take a look at the next 6 to 12 months, because that is one of the biggest questions that I get from my home buyers and my home sellers. What are we looking at for the rest of 2025 and 2026? The first big factor is interest rates. Current 30-year fixed mortgage rates right now are in the mid 6s. Down from over 7% at their peak. Now, the Fed is forecasting 2 additional rate cuts this year of 25 basis points. So that's another 0.5 percentage point before the end of this year. And in 2026, they're forecasting another 0.5 percentage point drop, which is going to put the rates in the 5s. And that's when everybody that bought at the bottom a couple years ago with their 7% rate is going to refinance. And that's when all those first-time homebuyers are going to enter the market. And the median sale price data here really shows what I'm talking about. So at the peak, that's the sub 3% era. I mean, the Federal Reserve pretty much controls housing pricing. And then you can start to see when they started increasing the rates, what it did to home prices. And now the rates are slowly dropping, and you can see home prices slowly going up. And I would not be surprised if we see new single family median sale prices by the middle to the end of 2026. The second factor is tech and jobs. The San Francisco real estate market is extremely tied to the tech sector. So when more tech companies are moving into San Francisco and less tech companies are doing layoffs, that only adds to the buyer confidence, let alone what it does to their income, their down payment money, their RSUs, their stocks, their other investments. So it's no wonder that demand is where it is today. The third piece is policy. Mayor Lurie's permitting reforms are showing results, and his boots on the ground approach to cleaning up the streets can be seen in real time. And finally, there's the broader economy. If the US slips into a recession, housing demand could cool across the board. Now, San Francisco is typically one of the last real estate markets to feel a national cooling, and it traditionally leads the way in the correction or the return. But that does not mean that the San Francisco real estate market is immune to these factors. However, if a recession doesn't happen, the most likely path here is a noticeable increase in home prices across the board. First-time homebuyers always ask me, when is the best time to get in the market? And my answer to them has not changed. The best time to buy was yesterday, because you're effectively paying a 100% interest rate to your landlord. Heck, I would rather have a 100% interest rate than pay rent, because at least you're getting appreciation, tax benefits, all the homeowner benefits that you're giving to your landlord's family. At least you would get that with a 100% rate. So if you're like, I don't want to go in at 6.5% rate, I want to wait till it goes to 5.5%. I think the other question that you should be asking yourself is, am I prepared to make the purchase? Do I have the down payment? And am I confident enough to make that monthly mortgage payment right now? Because if you do wait for those rates to drop a full point, prices are only going to go in one direction. So that is where we are in 2025. The wild parties are over from 21 and 22. The crazy lows from 23 and 24 are long past us too. The market is trending up. The economy is doing great. And rates are dropping. Thank you for watching all the way through. If you're new here, hey, my name's Erik, former tech exec turned San Francisco realtor. I help folks that I meet on YouTube and TikTok every single day. If you want to get connected with me, check the description below. It's got my email, it's got my cell, it's my personal cell. You can call me, text me anytime. I would love to hear from you. I would love to help you in your real estate journey.